Recording stopped. Yo, yo.
Here we are. Woohoo!
We're alive. So alive.
Yes, yes.
Oh, that is so funny. I'm just looking quickly at some people who hit our site, Moped Outlaws. They're searching for A Course in Miracles lessons.
So what did they do? They came there and they said, "Where are the Course in Miracles lessons?"
No, so I'm looking like top search queries for your site: A Course in Miracles lesson 10, A Course in Miracles lesson 54, A Course in
Google.
Miracles lesson of the
So
day.
people go to Google and then they get Moped Outlaws for that. Well, I guess that we're gonna have to share a lesson every day as part of the podcast, huh?
Part of our, well, yeah, every week. That's so funny.
All right.
This
Well,
is not the lessons you're expecting.
it doesn't seem to be going live. It keeps
I think
going
let's do Facebook, because everyone that we know is on Facebook. No one's going to be on YouTube.
Yes. I just don't know.
And then I'll just upload them to
process.
YouTube. Hey, do you have time to look at that streaming platform?
Not really. I will though.
Don't worry.
I'll make time.
Right.
Let's see. How do I stop this? All right.
Stop.
Disconnect. Let's see. Let's try a different one.
Can you go to our Facebook?
Yeah, it's good. That's where I'm headed right now.
To the mopeds, right? Instead of your personal? Or do you have to do your personal?
I don't know. I can look. Share to, is it a group or a page?
Page. Fuck groups. Groups are for.
There it is.
All right, we're on our Moped Outlaws.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice, I like. Got it. Got it.
Yeah. Working the technology here.
Yes, sir. Getting better all the time.
There it is.
I like that light shining behind you. A little bit of heaven shining behind you.
I am blessed.
Yes, sir. It actually looks like it's shining on your bald head.
Ooh, it may be. Let's see if I can figure out where the comments are.
Where have all the comments gone? Long time passing. Who can we offend tonight?
No, that isn't it.
Let's see.
It's so much more entertaining when I'm staring at the screen trying to make Facebook work.
Yeah, it sounds great too. It's great radio.
Well, we'll see if anyone comments.
Right. And I wonder if like they get notified. Like, do our friends get, I don't know. Maybe only the people who liked it anyway.
So it's going out there. It'll be on our page. If you're watching this later, thanks for joining us. We're really excited to be getting this more and more dialed in the way we like it.
Yes. And we're learning.
And we're not afraid to just show you how the sausage is made behind the scenes.
I'm afraid to show them how the sausage is made.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like sausage. Well, actually, I love sausage, but I don't eat it. Now what are you doing?
Trying to fix that whole angle problem with my camera.
What angle problem? Are you trying to get a right angle?
Look at this.
The wrong angle.
See how the painting now lines up with the top of the frame perfectly, and if I let go, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And see how the door is almost I have this little coin that's tucked in under. It's like this whole kludged solution. Oh no, let's just forget it. Just forget it.
Forget it. You're in a awkward room. What does that say? The Warfield.
The Warfield.
What shows?
The drink ticket.
Ah,
from Jerry
thanks.
Garcia band at the Warfield when I used to work there.
All right. You used to work at the Warfield?
Yeah, I used to do Jerry Garcia shows there
Oh,
when he was still alive.
Just Jerry shows with your uncle
Mm-mm.
on your own?
Yep, with the Bill Graham Presents archives.
Is that how you started in the archive industry?
That's how I started. I went to help with some video at a Jerry Garcia show. A friend who was going to supply them with some equipment was like, "Hey, do you want to crew with me for the Jerry run?" And I'm like, "Sure, that sounds fun." He says it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm like, "Okay." So I get there. He brings some gear, and their crew shows up, and they have this argument about the fact that he didn't bring everything he said he was going to bring. And they're like, "But dude, like, you promised that this is what you were going to deliver for the show, and now you're here." And he got defensive and upset and angry. And he said, "If you're not happy with this, then I don't need you." And he walked away
Wow.
without even unloading the gear.
Wow.
And I was just standing there. And the BGP people looked at me like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Well, my
His
name is Mark Wendt."
replacement.
And I was just going to help out with the show because I love Jerry. And the guy says, "Mark Wendt, are you related to Doug Wendt?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's my uncle." And Doug was working for Bill at the time. And they said, "Well, all right then. Well, there's still a show to do. Let's see what we can pull together."
All
So we
right.
started rummaging around for all the video equipment and stuff we had, and we cobbled a show together. It took about 8 hours to prep for Doors Open. We did this cool thing, which in the 90s was kind of tricky. We laid in a blue screen spot, and as the crowd walked up the stairs, we chroma keyed them into our video psychedelic light show. And they were looking at a monitor so that as they came up the stairs, they were chroma keyed into this psychedelic light show.
That's cool. So
And
they
I was
see
in the lobby.
themselves. Yeah.
And so I did a good job at that show. And the guy his name was James Olness, and James was the archivist for BGP. And James said, "I really like to work with you more, but I can't offer you a job. Are you in school?" And I was studying at College of Marin. I was studying video editing.
Did you lick a cat before this started?
No, but I have a mustache and stuff falls into and it's like, I can't talk. I have a hair by my
You look like you have cat syndrome.
Anyway, so James said, "I can offer you an internship." And I was like, "Hell yeah." And so that was it. I started a 2-year archives internship, and I learned a whole lot of stuff, and I studied on the side as well while I was there.
You have got to quit licking your fur before our podcast starts, dude.
I agree. In fact, that's how I lost my hair, licking my head. Just a whole nother story.
Fur head licking. This got real hot all of a sudden. So you went from there to Lucas?
Not quite. I did 2 years hoping to get a job at the Fillmore, because one of the things we did at the last part of my internship was we restored the Fillmore after the Loma Prieta quake.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, okay, this is it. They're opening the club. I've put in 2 years of work. I know every poster on this wall because I hung half of them, and I had done a bunch of stuff to create the hanging points for the frames for the different light shows. And I'd brought in this giant screen from Berkeley on a truck and hung it behind the stage, and wasn't to be. They didn't have a spot for me on the staff that worked. So there was like a 2 or 3 month period after my internship ended that I was having this kind of low, like, wow, I put on all this work, and well, I don't know what it's going to do for me. Right? It didn't turn out the way I'd hoped.
Right.
And around the 10-week mark, I saw an ad in the IJ for a 6-month project for Lucas licensing.
Oh, wow.
And I applied, and it turned out that my archive internship at Bill Graham Presents was the thing that really had me standing out. And then I turned that into a 21-year career.
Yes, sir. Hey, speaking of that, a close friend of my daughter's, her and her mom are sci-fi geeks, hardcore. Do you have anything that I could pass their way that is geeky that you would be willing to let go of that shine in their life? They are like Star Wars, especially Chewbacca.
Probably not,
Okay.
but let's
I
talk
kind
offline about it.
okay. Yeah, because it's secret and you people can't hear about it because now we're going into the sequel realm of
I wouldn't
outlaws.
want to spoil the surprise for your
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah. And we're outlaws. Okay. We might be stealing something. All right. We might be stealing the Death Star.
It probably actually sounds more like this.
No, it's like a white. Woo woo, the cops. Oh, what a story. Yeah. Our dear friend is I found a photo of him from the film Wonder. And so he's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
find
yeah,
that and give it to him.
yeah.
But I just know, yeah, my son still now and then talks about his birthday gift. That was an awesome time.
Yeah, lots of great things. You know, it was a real gift to work there, to work with so many amazing, innovative people. Really taught me everything I need to know about creating magic.
Have you seen the series that's on Netflix, The Movies That Made Us?
I haven't. I've gone by it a couple of times, thinking,
It's
yeah, I want to watch this.
it's really good.
Yeah,
It's
I
I
believe
saw
it.
the first holiday series and now Candy was talking about it. And so I jumped into it. And yeah, ILM, like I said last week, man, innovators. Innovators.
Innovative light and magic.
Yeah.
That's what ILM stands for.
Yeah. And it's so cool because Jurassic Park is one of the episodes. And so
Mm.
to have, without saying a whole lot, like that changed the fucking
Yeah, that movie, the way that they achieved the dinosaurs created crossed the threshold of being able to do everything after that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They
Because
finally
before
cracked the
that,
code.
it's like the breaking the 4 minute mile. You know, everyone said that can't be done. It's just biologically impossible. Then it happens, and you're like, oh, now this is what's real now. We didn't
Yeah,
think it was real, but actually it is real. And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's amazing, and they can just continue to do it with, you know, what they've done with the Mandalorian and all that other stuff.
yeah.
It's just like over and over and over again. They solve problems.
What I'm noticing too is a lot more of the mixed live action animation things that are coming out. There's another movie coming out. I think it's called Kate that's on Netflix with Woody
Woody
Harrelson,
Harrelson.
and someone else I don't recognize it, but it looks to me like a mixture of animation and live action. You know, where they take live action and kind of drop animation on top of it, almost, you know, like if you took Photoshop and took
Well,
that.
there's Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
No, but not
There's
that's not what I mean. And there's the Spider Verse, you know, which is full on animation.
yeah.
But no, this is like what was those things with who's the diehard guy?
Oh, Bruce Willis.
Yeah, do you know the movies I'm thinking of? That the gentleman from Dallas, the director from Dallas, who's part of the
Yeah,
Tarantino.
yeah, yeah. I know who you mean. Yeah. Oh God, he did an episode of Mandalorian too.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Um,
What's his damn name?
yeah.
What's
But we
his
get into this every time. We're
because we're old.
50 something, and I've got a bottle of MCT oil right next to my shake blender, but I haven't started using it yet. So next week we'll
Because I
remember
keep
more names.
forgetting. What is this for? Fuck. Who's saving this? Cathie, why do you have this next to the shake machine? That's yours, Mark. Oh, what's it for? for you to remember things. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll have to start
It's
using it.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's Rodriguez. Yes,
What's his first name?
Terry.
I hope he's not watching.
I hope he is. Terry, we want to be in your films.
Yeah. Robert Rodriguez.
There it is. Robert, does that sound right?
Troublemaker Studios, El Rey.
Yeah,
No.
that's him.
Yeah, that's him. It's
Yes.
Austin, not Dallas. Just
Okay.
since we're talking about him.
All right. Austin.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't think anybody's tuning in because I don't see any comments, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. So now we're learning that no one gives a shit about Moped Outlaws except you and me, and we're gonna care to the day we die.
I love it, and I just think you're so funny.
That's right. I think you're funny.
I know, but looks aren't everything.
You got a face made for radio, my friend.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so Facebook doesn't really tell people, like when you do it on your live thing, then everyone gets notified. Oh, Mark's streaming live. When Moped Outlaws starts streaming, like, oh, no one gives a shit.
We'll work it all out. It's all good.
Babysit people, man. Either you love us or we don't know you.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't know us then. And
No,
maybe
we
they
don't know
want to
them.
now.
We don't know them.
Yeah, they're all watching the recall debate. That's what's going on.
Oh, really? Is there a recall debate?
Apparently.
Tear down the wall. I had a friend, a friend sent an email out. She had a good point. She said she's got her things about Gavin, you know. However, she thought any replacement is going to be worse off than with him in regards to the environment and California on the whole. And I thought, that's a good point.
Well, when they figure out that he's part of why we aren't going to be able to have bacon in California anymore, that'll be the end of it.
And that's based on what?
Well, there was legislation passed in 2018 that has it be that in order to sell bacon in the state of California, it has to be that certain pigs, each pig has a pen size that's commensurate with the state regulations. But nobody who raises pigs for slaughter for bacon has pens that size because it's that industrial, meat packing they're not doing it that way. And so it's supposed to take effect in January and nobody's prepared. None of the suppliers have done what they're supposed to do. And so California is going to run out of bacon in January.
I just don't see that being held. I don't think that's going to go through.
So what you're saying is people want their bacon.
Yeah. Sad but true. It is interesting. Sad? There's someone who's very close to me who turned me on to that documentary Seaspiracy. And yeah, I understand, blah, blah, blah. People just find fault with everything. It's food for thought.
If you didn't eat so much fish, if we ate more bacon, we wouldn't need to eat so much fish.
It's the mass production of food. That's what it just meant. But
you're right. I'm just trying to be funny on a serious situation.
Well, I take things very seriously. Things go better with Coke. Let's do a line.
Oh my, no way.
And now where are we? We went from Seaspiracy to the Tenderloin. Smells like fish.
It smells like something I won't mention.
Oh my God, excrement. Holy Christ, that place is shitty.
I haven't been there. I don't know.
Oh God, I went there with Bowie and I don't think I'll be walking through that area ever again. Wow. We already talked about it last week, didn't we? Yeah, we did because you mentioned that app that shows you where.
Really, we're so senile that we don't even know
It's
that we're
called a
covering.
callback, Mark.
Did you ever get one from that audition that you did?
No, I didn't. Everyone's ignoring me in their own way.
Like a southern summer night or a cold hardy winter's day.
Yes, sir. Everyone's ignoring me. How
Is it
come you have
better?
so many beads on? That looks cute. I like that.
So each one of these is a sacred object to me.
Okay, so the fish hook
This was
made out of
forged
aluminum
from
foil.
silver that Cathie's family gave her, which she melted down, and then she made this fish hook for me and forged it herself as a gift
To remind
in
you that
Mexico.
you're the one whose cheek is pierced on the line. She's the one holding the pole.
That's not it.
Oh,
I
what's it
don't want to tell you
represent?
about the rest of them now. You're
Ah, you made me
that's
mad. You made fun of my sacred object from my partner and love of my life, the shining light. And those beads, is
these
that
are
one of hers?
plastic glow in the dark skulls that represent sort of the voodoo Keith Richards, sort of like the impermanence of life.
And the black beads?
These are hand carved Tibetan prayer beads called a mola, and there's 108 of them. So when you're chanting a mantra, you count them as you move them along.
And the little bag?
This is full of things that I earned on a men's wisdom retreat where I was part of a 7-day immersion. And then on the final day, we had to pass all these different ritual tests. And this was what I was given as the reminder of the razor's edge, was what the workshop was called. And there's some crystals and some herbs and stuff in here. And then this one, which is hard to see because it's dark. Same thing, only 2 years later, different workshop, men's wisdom workshop. The culmination of my men's wisdom coach training also involved a ceremonial test. And this is Maori jade. And it's carved to, it's kind of blunt, this one, but the traditional ones are carved as a tool for cutting, for fish scaling and various things like that.
So you have a fish hook and you have a tool for carving up fish. And we're back
And
to
hunting.
Seaspiracy. See?
Yeah.
See how we did that?
Yeah.
So this person near and dear to me who said, you got to watch Seaspiracy, they said they were never going to eat any more fish unless they saw it caught so that they knew how it was caught. But they haven't been able to do that. They haven't really taken that on as a reality. And it just brings to me how difficult it is to manifest real change in one's life. It's a very challenging thing to do.
Yeah, accordingly, 8 billion of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. We have a lot of adjustments to make.
Even just personally.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's why we're riding away into the sunset on this moped.
We're riding into the heart of the lion to change the world one podcast at a time.
Uh, yes, sir. So can you go into what that fishhook symbolizes? Or is it too personal?
Sure. There was one, we went on a trip in December of 2017 to a place called
That's
Playa del
pre-COVID.
Carmen.
That's how we're going to do time from now on.
Pre-COVID.
That was
And
3
while we were
years
there,
pre-COVID.
we discovered a shop that was in the town at the far end of where all the retail stuff was. And the shop was a place where Mexican jail men, people who were in Mexican jail, who had restitution to pay and families to feed, would make things that then could be sold at these shops, and the money went to their victims or to the families to help keep them going while they were in jail. And I bought, there was a, I didn't have a lot of money. There were lots of cool things to buy, but what I found was a hook that was kind of a pewter, silvery kind of hook, fish hook. And so at the time, the symbol was about not allowing myself to get hooked into codependent behaviors that have been part of my challenge in life. And so that's what it symbolized. And then after a while, that particular leather thing didn't hold up, and I didn't like the pewter. I wanted something of more of substance. So Cathie's a jewelry designer, and she used to go down to Mexico a couple times a year and make jewelry, silver jewelry. So she said, "Hey, I'm going down there and I'm going to melt down my family silver and make stuff out of it. Is there anything you want?" And I said, "Ooh, I'd love it if you'd make me another hook that's, actual silver that you made." And so it's a symbol of not hooking people in terms of your relationship status with them, but also not getting hooked on other people's trauma.
And how come she goes to Mexico to do the silver melting?
Well, there's a town called Tasco, and it's the silver capital of Mexico. They've been making jewelry and mining silver for over 100 years down there. And so she used to work for a company called Farfetched that used to make jewelry, that she designed jewelry for, and she would go down there and supervise the artisans because it's all handmade. It's not like manufactured with molds and stuff like that. It's handmade. And she would go down with her designs for them and supervise the artisans, make sure it met the quality standards. And then after a while, she stopped working for Farfetch, and so she was going down there to produce her own line, which is called Go Girl Goods, or Cathie Blackstone.
With a C.
Yeah, and she's getting ready to launch her jewelry website and her sculpting website very soon.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. And she just recently got a couple new commissions.
Oh, right on. Congratulations. Yeah. So there's food on the table.
There's food on the table, love in our hearts, and the grace of God provides the means to navigate everything. Which brings us to today's Course in Miracles reading.
All right. Today's reading is brought to you by Nabisco.
What day are we on? What day is this?
8/4. Yeah.
8/4. But what number is that?
836,371.
Tell you what, we'll just read.
Let's just read the one you're on.
110. I am as God created me. We will repeat today's idea from time to time, for this one thought would be enough to save you and the world if you believed that it is true. Its truth would mean that you have made no changes in your life that have reality, nor changed the universe, so that what God created was replaced by fear and evil, misery and death. If you remain as God created you, fear has no meaning, evil is not real, and misery and death do not exist. Today's idea is therefore all you need to let complete correction heal your mind and give you perfect vision that will heal all the mistakes that any mind has made at any time or place. It is enough to heal the past and make the future free. It is enough to let the present be accepted as it is. It is enough to let time be the means for all the world to learn, escape from time, and every change that time appears to bring in passing by. If you remain as God created you, appearances cannot replace the truth. Health cannot turn to sickness, nor can death be substitute for life, or fear for love. All this has not occurred if you remain as God created you. You need no thought, but just this one, to let redemption come to light the world and free it from the past.
I really love the concept in Course in Miracles that evil does not exist. And it's such one that when I bring it up, people want to argue with it.
That's just evil.
While they, they'll bring up their examples. And I remember as a young man talking about heaven being a place of perfection where everyone's happy. And then people would go, well, you'd get bored. And I go, well, that's not it then. So that's not, you're not happy when you're bored. So that's not it. Well, you have to be, like they'd just be arguing against the potential of 24/7 happiness.
Mm. So there's something about the crucible of incarnation which our soul evolution craves.
Yeah, why? It's ridiculous. I can even see for myself, like there's times, there's still shempa. I love that word, shempa. It's just like still prominent in me with things, there's still habits of people in my life from like, why are you doing that? Why am I holding on to it? Why not let it go?
Well, do you have the capacity? Right.
Right.
And then there's the illusory nature of the idea that you haven't already.
Right. And so the answer then is, of course you have the capacity. It's already done.
Well, the answer to the question of why is why not? Which is really a fucked up way to answer a question like that. Like, let's just play that through. Every question you ask me, I'll answer it like that same way.
Okay. Why is the door closed? Why not?
Because
why?
Why not?
Because I said so. Let's
Right.
do the parents' answer. Let's answer like parents for everything.
Because God will be angry if we don't do it that way.
Yeah. Oh, I just heard Garrison Keillor quote last night that I thought was brilliant. Being in a church makes you a Christian as much as standing in a garage makes you a car.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah, I do too. I was pondering it a bit today, realizing how much attachment I've given to being in a church. I have a very different feeling of standing in a church in my imagination, in my body, than standing in a garage. Like I've attached a lot of feeling and emotion and meaning to standing in a church.
Well, they are exquisitely designed to create that sense of awe, but I've found that standing overlooking a redwood forest can do very similar things to me.
Doesn't have quite the sonics of a good, built church.
It has better ones.
I don't know. Have you ever sung a nice song in the forest and it just goes out? You don't hear the sonics, the booming resonance of a chorus echoing off the ceiling and walls.
Well, yes and no.
See, here we get into the semantics of life of, like a sound studio exists for a reason.
Yes, it does. And, there's all kinds of amazing things about the Church of the Forest to sing in that are not available in churches.
It just reminds me, I went with Bowie and saw Joan Jett and the Blackhearts Sunday at Stern Grove. It was fucking awesome. It was so
at
good.
Stern Grove?
Yeah. And
are the trees there very angry?
No, check this out. So Joan, they do their first song and they're going right into their second song, like the drummer starting off into the second song. And Joe's on, wait. No, we can't no, stop. So the whole band stops. And then she went into this thing about this is their first live gig since 2019, how amazing it is. And then she said, and trees are like people to me. And this is overwhelming. This is crazy. It's amazing. And Bodie turns to me and goes, I like her.
Yeah, I love that documentary I saw about her, and just to see everything that she's been through and all the misogyny she had to navigate, and how she's her partner in her management and her have just had this long running like volatility, but yeah,
really it was on the stage even, like they were, a little argument kind of broke out on stage, and because he started telling a story, but he just told it real quick. She goes, you didn't tell the whole story. And he's like, so
the manager got to come on stage and talk.
Well, he plays, I don't know if it's the guy she started. So they started Blackhearts 40 years ago. He plays keyboard and percussion. And
so he was telling a story and he tried to be brief so as not to detract from the music. And she
right. She's like, right. And then she goes, all right, this is a song we wrote, and it's what's happening right now. It's called Frustrated. They went right into that.
That's hilarious.
And she's got to be in her 70s, and she still rocks.
Yeah.
Still rock. The whole band is tight. Super, super good. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Did she wear wrist stuff? Did she have wristbands on? Like, that sort of looked like almost like sweatbands that basketball players wear, but wrapped, more like wraps. Do you remember?
I don't remember that. Still the whole black leather, black t-shirt, black pants, black boots, black. And they ended with Everyday People. That was their very last song.
So she did a Sly and the Family Stone song as her encore.
Yeah, it was awesome. Wow. Killed on Crimson and Clover. Killed. Right. And of course, everyone loved I Love Rock and Roll. You know, that got the whole Grove bouncing.
So that was it. She had a 15-minute set?
No, it was like hour and a half.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of music about, like, I couldn't name another Joan Jett song, but you know what? I'll bet they're all killer.
They were. Yeah. And you could. That was the other part. Like she would be playing. You're like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I Hate Myself for Loving You. Don't Give a Damn About My Bad Reputation. Did Cherry Bomb, you know, from the Runaways. Yeah. It's just.
Joan Jett, man, you are an American original. We love you.
Yes.
And if you're hearing my voice, wow, I'm privileged. Why don't you write something new?
Can't believe you said that. Actually,
she probably has, but it's like, nah, no one wants to hear it, right?
No, it's good. In fact, she has a song on Miley Cyrus's new album that they did together. That's good.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think there's 2 songs actually that are. Anyway, yeah, Joan's still active and doing new stuff. Don't be harshing on Joan.
Were we a little sensitive?
No, we're not, but she is. I'm protecting her like a man. Like a man. Protecting the little lady.
No misogyny here, not on Moped Outlaws.
Misogyny? Oh, they did Androgynous. They've done that song ever since I've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
Androgynous, closer than you know. Yes, sir. Hey, have you listened to Prince's new album, Welcome to America?
I haven't. Is it available?
Yes, sir.
I should listen to it. Where would I guess I have to go to Spotify or YouTube?
Spotify. Yeah, I think they're all on YouTube.
I wanted to see that concert that's part of the big package. I wanted to buy that whole big package that has like the double album and the CD.
I wanted a big package, but I wasn't born that way.
Neither was Prince. He's been overcompensating ever since.
Apparently quite well.
Yeah. from what I've heard, it's a really, really, really amazing. It's like the promise of the vault is fulfilled with this record.
It is really good. And there's his podcast where
Yeah, there's the podcast, which are 4 episodes of them talking about.
yeah, and I've heard 2 of them so far, and that's really good to hear how like this vision was really brought to life, that he said to everyone, thank you, this has been burning in me for a while and I didn't know how to get it out, but then it was done and he threw it in the vault. Like it didn't, like everyone thought, oh, this is going to be another sign of the times, this is going to bring him back into the public eye in a big way. And they're like, oh, what happened?
Well, I guess maybe in episodes 3 or 4 they'll explain what his thinking was about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because you heard all 4?
No, I haven't heard any of them, any of the podcasts.
All right. Such a trip because it's super dark in my room, but from the video, it looks like it's light.
Yes, the aperture of automatic camera. I have been really, really devoting myself to my work ethic.
Right on.
Since I have stopped teaching summer camp. And so I haven't allowed myself the privilege of like diving in to listen to the new Prince album or, watch a lot of movies or anything like that.
Yeah, so, good for you. It's good.
At one point I had the 2020 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions going as like almost like listening to a radio show while I was working. So that was fun.
2020?
Yeah. Yeah. 9 Inch Nails, T-Rex, bunch of people.
We're just named 2 good ones.
Yeah. Tyrannosaurus Rex, Notorious B.I.G. And I forget the rest because I wasn't really listening. It was just like, when you're working, having a little something to keep you going.
Yeah. I know I do that sometimes. Sometimes like I'll have a podcast on, then I turn it off because I'm like, oh, I really want to listen to this. And it's not happening.
One of the standout moments is videotape of David Bowie talking about Trent Reznor and what an original he was and how he heard 9 Inch Nails and he was blown away. And I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty righteous endorsement when David Bowie's talking about you like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you heard Black Star?
What's that?
His last album he did when he was dying.
Oh, I think I've heard bits and pieces of it from the documentary I watched.
Did you watch that documentary, The Last 5 Years?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was super cool to see how he dove into that avant-garde jazz troupe to, have them back this album. And they're like, wait, really? Have you heard our stuff? We don't. He's like, no, we're doing this. Yeah. And the producer talking about how he would tweak Dave's voice, Yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite Bowie stories is Ricky Gervais apparently became close friends with Bowie. And when Bowie was turning either 50 or 60, Ricky sent him an email saying, happy, let's say it was 50, happy 50th birthday. Don't you think it's time you got a real job? And David wrote back, I have a real job. David Bowie, rock god. Ricky was like, what do you, there it is. There's the guy.
Can't argue with that one. Oh, he told you. Wow.
Have you seen that thing when Bowie's, it was the series Ricky did called Extras? Oh my God. If you want to see something hella funny, go on YouTube and look up David
Gervais Extras.
Yeah, and David Bowie. And
the David Bowie one. Okay.
Yeah. So if you put in like David Bowie, Ricky Gervais Extras and look for the one that's the longest, because there will be short little ones, but you want the whole premise of the scene. And
okay.
brilliant.
That sounds amazing.
It's really funny.
You know, there's so much video content now available that no human being could watch all of the good stuff in one lifetime.
I heard,
We've reached the level that
yeah, there's like every second, thousands of hours uploaded to YouTube every fucking second, man. The aliens, we will never be taken over by aliens because they're going to be bogged down by the research.
God's been waiting a long time to be able to watch this stuff. He's been waiting for eternity to really have a channel he could tune into that was worthy.
This is what the creation of humanity was all about. God's entertainment
if you were
channel.
God and you had to watch Eternity Forever, you'd want like it to be this ultimate sitcom.
Yeah. I wonder if he logs in so he can see the over 18 content.
He can see it all, or they can see it all. She can see it all.
Oh, are we there now?
Yeah.
This is non-gender specific, non-binary.
The all is both genders.
Oh, are there only two genders? Let's cancel the cancel culture.
We did. We just did.
Amen.
Yeah. You know,
And
you
it is
cancel
so.
yourself before they can cancel you. And then
Exactly.
And we did that already. We had to change our name already.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. That was just smart. It is funny to hear these earlier episodes where we're.
Yeah, I cringed. I listened to it and I heard our old name and I was like, oh, geez.
I know. Well, it's good. People, there's a learning process in life and we're part of it.
Right.
Holy Christ. It just reminded me of a joke a friend sent me today via email. These four nuns are at the gates of heaven, and the nun goes to St. Peter and says, St. Peter, I touched a penis. I have sinned. St. Peter goes, go and wash your hands in holy water. And the next nun comes and says, no, the first one says, I saw a penis. He goes, go wash your face in the holy water. Next nun comes and says, I've sinned. I've touched a penis. And the father says, St. Peter says, go and wash your hands in the holy water. And the fourth nun jumps and cuts in line from the third one and goes, can I gargle in the holy water before she dips her ass in it?
You told that joke so badly.
I know.
Isn't it? Listen back to that and go, damn.
We're going to stop this episode right before I say that joke. I'm going to say, that reminds me of a joke a friend sent me.
And it'll go,
recording has ended.
Stopped.
Recording stopped. Exactly.
Okay. There is some editing. You said no editing, but now I see how you are.
Yep. That's what happens when you give me control.
Yes. I give you the illusion of control.
Illusion of control I give you.
Oh, yes. Next week, we're going to do the episode with all Yoda voice next week. Both of us will be.
I better practice. Hey, speaking of, I found an interview with the director of the movie Wonder, and he was giving mad props to Mike as Chewbacca. And
really?
Yeah. And like the interviewer asked, did your actor Michael Healy do the Chewbacca voice? And the director, I forget his name, Steven something, said, he did it really well, but Lucas is really tight about everything and representation. So we did it in the studio and they approved it. It wasn't Mike, but he could do a great Chewbacca. And they talked about how Mike, it was a burning hot day when they filmed. They only had Chewbacca for one day. And so they had to give Mike breaks, and they'd have to bring him to a secret place because it was stipulated he isn't allowed to remove the head in front of kids. And
Lucasfilm does a great job of protecting the magic.
Yeah. And the director said how generous Mike was with photos and hanging out, beyond time. And It was super cool.
You know, there's a reason I don't want Ubenza mad at me.
He's taller and will beat our ass.
That's not why.
Why?
He's such a generous person. Like
Yeah.
the amount of generosity that I've been the recipient of over the years is just beyond description. There's no way I could describe it. Like literally, I've laughed harder and longer with that person than any other human on the planet. And it's been one of the great gifts of my life to share that laughter with him.
Yes.
And I can't wait till we have him on the show.
Well, we'll see if he even wants to. And he's got a hot temper, he does.
Yes.
I've stood in that fire a couple times.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he's a brother for sure.
No doubt. Very fun. Very, very the wealth of my life is deeply impacted by his generous spirit.
That's good.
And on that note,
I know, right?
here's to all of the great Irishmen in our lives who are so funny and so full of vim and vigor and vitriol when they've got a few in them.
They don't even need to have a few.
I saw an American flag today. You know how they have those ones with the blue stripe?
No.
You've never seen the black American flag with the blue stripe that's about police lives matter?
Oh, instead of like red and white, it's blue and white with the black stars.
It's black and white with one blue stripe.
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, so I saw one today where there were 3 stripes and they were red, they were orange, white, and green. And then in the stars area there was an Irish cross that has like the loop with the all of the decorations on it. I forget what they call that. The filigree that they have on it, the Celtic knots. That's it. It was the and I was like, that's weird. What? I'd never seen one from. Which one is that? And then I got closer and I go, oh, that person's an Irish American. It's like, yeah. I used to get mad at people for doing that, and then I remembered back in the 70s that we used to put corporate logos all over the blue field and a rainbow stripes instead of red. And I'm like, yeah, we can't get mad at each other for personalizing the flag according to our own beliefs.
It is always wild to me, the military belief of the flag is it's a living entity. That's the way it's treated.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah.
It's alive.
Yeah. Wild.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Can you hit that high note?
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
Here it comes.
o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Play ball.
Recording stopped.
That seems like a good place to stop.